Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Voting underway in a high-stakes German parliamentary election. Olaf Scholz's SPD faces a tough fight from the Conservatives and the far right. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni calls for conservative unity, says Europe will never be lost as long as conservatives remain in the fight. Praising India's Ayurveda and yoga, Prime Minister Modi lays the foundation stone of the Bageshwar Dham Medical and Science Research Institute in Madhya Pradesh. And bowlers help India to make a brilliant comeback to reduce Pakistan to 7 down in their Champions Trophy clash in Dubai. Germans are casting their ballots in their national election, hoping for an improved economy and a return to stability. The Conservatives are strong favourites to win the parliamentary election after a campaign rocked by a far-right surge and the return of US President Donald Trump. Voting began at 700 hours GMT. More than 59 million Germans are eligible to vote. The first estimates based on exit polls are expected after the poll closes at 1700 hours GMT. The snap election was called after Chancellor Olaf Scholz's coalition government collapsed last year. Scholz is seeking a second term. He faces tough competition from opposition leader Friedrich Merz, Vice Chancellor Robert Habeck and far-right leader Alice Weidel, who is contesting for the first time. The final results may take several days and coalition negotiations could stretch for months, as no single party is expected to secure a majority in Germany's proportional voting system. Reviving the European Union's biggest economy as well as immigration and security are the main issues in Germany's election, which was triggered by the collapse of centre-left Chancellor Olaf Scholz's coalition last year. Our next report tells you more.
Germany heads to snap national elections on Feb 23rd following the collapse of Chancellor Olaf Scholz's three-way coalition. But what are the key issues and how are people reacting? The Russia-Ukraine conflict is on the agenda of Germany's election. The mainstream parties are all in favor of helping Ukraine fend off Russia's attack, while the AfD and BSW want an end to weapons delivery to Kyiv and a resumption of good relations with Moscow.
I think one of the things that moves people in Germany most might be the topic of migration, because not necessarily on their own accounts, but because it's a topic that has been raised by all of the major parties and thus has set a movement into place with the people as well. It is a topic that is very important for every one of us, but the way that it's discussed, it's not often the optimal way.
Many migrants have expressed a desire to integrate and contribute to society.
Germany helps the Ukrainians a lot, but the Ukrainians have to help Germany too. One simply can't always live at the expense of the state that feeds you for years. People have to start work and make their contribution.
Economy is another key issue in Germany. In Gelsenkirchen, the signs of a downturn are visibly everywhere. While the city played a big part in Germany's post-war economic miracle, the rot set in with the decline of coal and heavy industry in the 1960s. The population tumbled from 390,000 then to just 260,000 now, as the local economy cratered. Now the German voters here demand change as Europe's biggest economy stalls.
Also ich glaube einfach, dass unsere I just believe that our last government did a lot of things wrong, starting with the industry and energy policies and many other factors. That's why I'm almost certain that no matter what the new government will do, it will be possible to get out of this hole and that we will manage to create jobs again and to adequately address energy policy issues which people can actually afford.
High energy prices remain a formidable challenge for households and businesses in Germany.
We need to discuss the further transformation of our energy system while respecting companies' different need and their energy requirement. Here the state must put the relevant infrastructure at the forefront.
Every candidate who wins one of Germany's 299 constituencies is guaranteed a seat. To fill the other half of the 598 seats in Germany's Bundestag, voters cast their votes in the second vote or Zweitstimme. This vote goes to a political party instead of a single candidate. Bureau Report, DD India.
And my colleague Shubhendu Ghosh joins us on the story now. Shubhendu, who are the front runners for the top job of the German Chancellery, and what can you tell us about AfD's political fortunes?
Well, Tanvi, these are historic elections in Germany. Historic because what happens here is not only going to determine the destiny, the future of Germany, but also what happens next in Europe and perhaps more importantly, what happens in the Russia-Ukraine war. Coming to your question, the front runners are Friedrich Merz. He is in the opinion polls. He represents the Christian Democratic Party. A conservative is a center-right party. That is leading at the moment as far as opinion polls is concerned. And the manner in which these elections are different is when we look at the number two party, which is leading. It's the far-right AfD party, Alternative for Germany party, led by Alice Wilder. Now, far-right parties in Germany post-Second World War, we know that there was a certain degree of political untouchability associated with them. They were really at the margins with the difficult legacy of Nazi Germany. But that seems to be, that sort of a roadblock seems to be giving way to the rise of the far-right this time. At about 20% point support, they are in fact, at the moment, as far as opinion polls are concerned, at number two. There is, of course, Olaf Scholz from the Social Democrats. He had stitched together a traffic light coalition, as it is called. It collapsed last year. And the reasons why it collapsed is also are also the key reasons why we are seeing these elections at the moment. There is crisis in the German economy. It has been contracting for about 2 years in the running now. Russia-Ukraine war, with America changing its stance, there's a lot of pressure on Germany, which is the most vocal and potent supporter of Ukraine in this conflict. And then, of course, there is the issue of migration that the right-wing parties, the far right in particular, has been able to raise effectively and has also resonated significantly with the people of Germany, especially the youth. Tanvi?
Okay, you mentioned about migration. Yes, attitudes towards migration have hardened in a profound shift in German public sentiment. Tell us how big an issue of migration is in this election.
It is eerily parallel to the manner in which the American elections were playing out, where immigration, illegal immigration was a big issue. Then we here in Germany, which was for the recent decade seen as a European economic powerhouse that is not just prosperous itself, but it also sort of opens doors to people who have nowhere to go, asylum seekers, not just from Ukraine. There are about 1.5 million Ukraine asylum seekers, migrants who've come to Germany, but they're also migrants from conflict-ridden Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. So in that sense, the migrant influx of the past years, decades, is also seen as the reason for why German economy is suffering at the moment. The Germans believe that the migrants are not just taking unfair and disproportionate share in their prosperity, but more recently there have been some instances of association of heinous crime with migrants. At least 3 such crimes have been reported in the very recent weeks, all being attributed to foreign people, migrants who've come to Germany. So in that sense, the law and order situation, its deterioration, is also associated with the migrants. And although all parties are in favor of an effective immigration policy to check the inflow of migration, to balance the economy, But it is the far right and their stance on getting Germany rid of all migrants that appears to be resonating significantly with the people of Germany, and that's why we see in very historic manner, for the first time really, the rise of the far right in German politics, and Alice Weidel, the leader of AfD, almost running as a potential chancellor, although her chances of making it to power by herself are significantly less, but she could be a kingmaker, if not chancellor herself.
Okay. Thank you very much, Shubhendu Ghosh, for joining and reporting on the story. Also in Europe, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni slammed the left for hysteria over the global rise of conservative leaders, accusing liberals of hypocrisy and frustration. Speaking virtually at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Washington, D.C., Meloni claimed that a liberal network is struggling to accept right-wing leadership, especially in the light of Donald Trump's return to the White House.
Europe is far from lost, and it will never be lost as long as conservatives remain in the fight. Conservatives keep on growing and are becoming more and more influential in European politics. And that is why the left is nervous. And with Trump's victory, their irritation has turned into hysteria. When Bill Clinton and Tony Blair created the global leftist liberal network in the 90s, they were called statesmen. Today, when Trump, Meloni, Milei, or maybe Modi talk, they are called a threat to democracy. This is the left's double standard.
On to West Asia now. The Israel-Hamas ceasefire agreement is facing new tensions as Israel delayed the release of 602 Palestinian prisoners, accusing Hamas of humiliating ceremonies during hostage handovers. The move has sparked strong reactions from both sides, with Hamas calling it a blatant violation of the truce deal. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has issued a stark warning to Hamas to release the remaining hostages.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced on Sunday that the release of over 600 Palestinian prisoners under the ceasefire deal will be put on hold until Hamas stops its staged hostage handover ceremonies. Since the truce began on January 19, Hamas has freed 25 Israeli hostages, parading them before crowds and cameras in what Israel calls a disgraceful propaganda exercise. In the 7th hostage prisoner swap that took place on Saturday, Hamas released 6 Israeli captives, but Israel refused to release Palestinian detainees, triggering outrage from Hamas. Netanyahu's office issued a statement saying, "In light of Hamas's repeated violations, including the disgraceful ceremonies that dishonor our hostages and the cynical use of hostages for propaganda, it has been decided to delay the release of terrorists until the next hostages are freed without the humiliating ceremonies." In Washington, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio issued a strong warning, stating that if Hamas fails to release all the remaining hostages, it will face total destruction. Meanwhile, families of Palestinian prisoners gathered outside Israeli detention centers on Saturday, waiting for their loved ones to be freed, only to be left disappointed.
The families are in a state of anger, a state of sadness, a state of resentment. The mediators must complete their role so that the families can rejoice in the release of their loved ones.
The 6 Israeli hostages freed on Saturday were the last group of living captives set to be released under the Phase 1 of the truce deal. Hamas had agreed to hand over 33 hostages in total as part of this phase. The first phase of the ceasefire deal is set to expire in early March, leaving uncertainty over what comes next. Hamas has released a video showing 2 Israeli hostages in captivity watching Saturday's exchange. Hamas still holds 62 hostages in Gaza, including 35 that the Israeli military believes are dead. With the ceasefire deadline approaching, tensions remain high, and the fate of the remaining hostages hangs in the balance. Bureau Report, DD India.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. Elon Musk gives ultimatum to US government employees to report on work by Monday or resign. India's External Affairs Minister meets the Kashi-Tamil Sangamam delegates.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I am Tanvi Taneja. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi laid the foundation stone of Bageshwar Dham Medical and Science Research Institute for Cancer at Chhatarpur in the state of Madhya Pradesh. The cancer hospital, worth over $23 million, will offer free treatment to underprivileged cancer patients. The Medical and Science Research Institute is being constructed by a trust of the Bageshwar Dham in the Bundelkhand region. Prime Minister said that in this year's budget, the Indian government announced many steps to fight cancer. The government also announced that cancer medications will be made cheaper, while cancer daycare centers will be opened in every district of the country in the next 3 years.
बागेश्वर धाम में कैंसर मरीजों के लिए इतना बड़ा अस्पताल खुलने जा रहा है, क्योंकि कैंसर अब हर जगह बड़ी परेशानी बन रहा है। इसलिए आज सरकार, समाज, संत सब कैंसर के खिलाफ लड़ाई में मिलकर प्रयास कर रहे हैं। इस साल जो बजट आया है उसमें भी कैंसर से लड़ने के लिए कई सारी घोषणाएं की गई है और मोदी ने तय किया है कि कैंसर की दवाओं को और सस्ता किया जाएगा। अगले 3 साल में देश के हर जिले में कैंसर डे केयर सेंटर खोले जाएंगे। डे केयर सेंटर में जांच भी होगी और आराम करने की सुविधा भी होगी।
Modi offered prayers at Bageshwar Dham Balaji Temple before laying the foundation stone of the hospital. Prime Minister Modi is on a 2-day visit to the central Indian state of Madhya Pradesh. Underlining Russia's military focus, President Vladimir Putin said that supporting his troops in Ukraine and strengthening the country's armed forces remain Moscow's top strategic priorities. Speaking on Sunday, Putin said that meeting the needs of his soldiers on the battlefield is crucial as Russia continues its military campaign.
Today, in the face of rapid changes in the world, our strategic course towards strengthening and developing the armed forces remains unchanged. We will continue to improve the combat capabilities of the Army and Navy, their combat readiness, as an essential component of ensuring Russia's security, a guarantee of its sovereign present and the future, and its progressive development.
On to the US. The Trump government sent emails on Saturday to US government employees telling them to detail their work accomplishments from the previous week by Monday night local time or risk losing their jobs. The emails came shortly after Elon Musk, the billionaire head of the Trump government's Department of Government Efficiency, posted on X that not responding to the email request would be viewed as a resignation. Musk issued his post just hours after Trump posted on his own social media network Truth Social that Dodge should get more aggressive in its attempts to downsize and reshape the 2.3 million strong workforce. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar attended the 3rd edition of the Kashi-Tamil Sangamam Interacting with diplomats and delegates at the Banaras Hindu University, the minister said that Tamil Nadu has a special affinity towards Kashi. He discussed about the underlying beliefs of Indian history and culture, which keeps the country together.
Tradition can also help technology, and that is where the Indian knowledge system can make a difference. Now, already people are discovering, say, they took yoga as a physical exercise. Today there is an understanding it is something much deeper. Now, same thing with traditional medicine. People were very, I would say, skeptical outside India. Not because of anything. I think there was no familiarity. So it is up to us also to rediscover it and propagate it.
And on to sports now. The all-important encounter between India and Pakistan is underway at the Dubai International Cricket Stadium. A brilliant comeback in bowling saw India reducing Pakistan to 241. Hardik Pandya has claimed 2 wickets, while Kuldeep Yadav has completed his 3-wicket haul. Earlier, Saud Shakil and Mohammad Rizwan stitched a crucial 104-run stand to help Pakistan recover from 47 for 2 after the side decided to bat first. And for more on the story, Narayan Singh joins us. Narayan, well, it's 241 for the loss of all wickets. Is that a good enough total to defend?
Tanvi, talking about this match, actually the pitch, the way it is behaving and the way things are looking right now, I think it's a below par total at this pitch. Also taking a look at the Indian batting lineup and the form of the Indian batsmen. And I think they are short of 30-40 runs on this pitch, Pakistan, because we know that as the conditions will progress, definitely there is no dew in the evening time, but definitely India has the potential to just deal with the Pakistani bowler, but the first 6 overs, 7 overs is going to be crucial for both the teams, because we know that Pakistan have a strong bowling lineup, and in the twilight time, if the way Shah Afridi has a good record against the Indian openers and the Haris Rauf and Naseem Shah also there, if they can click in the first 7-8 overs, then the momentum can shift in Pakistan's way. But if India can just survive the 7-8 overs, definitely it's going to be a one-way traffic for the Indian team, and definitely here Pakistan has the chance to score more runs. But in the middle overs, as we saw that in the first 10 overs they were scoring good at the run rate of 5.2, but in the next 10 over it came down to 2.7, and after that they tried to accelerate to some extent. But the way India also found, we can say that it was looking like that India is not able to take the wicket in the mid overs, but a mini collapse was witnessed after that, and definitely Pakistan came on the back foot.
Yeah, so Kuldeep Yadav taking 3 wickets, Hardik Pandya taking 2, and of course Akshar Patel 1, Ravindra Jadeja 1. So all in all, the whole bowling team coming together as a unit?
Definitely it was the need of the hour, because in the Bangladesh match we saw that from 11 overs to 40 overs India was not able to take a wicket, and here was also the same scene at one point in time. The wickets are not coming in the middle overs, and it was a worrying sign for the Indian team. But the way India gelled up again, and we also witnessed few missed catches too. So we can say that it was the time where the wickets were not coming, but India just coming back into the match, taking the crucial wicket, and the way Mohammad Rizwan was sent back to the pavilion. After that, a mini collapse was witnessed, and that was crucial for the India's perspective, because if Pakistan would have scored more runs, around 270, 280, definitely it was, we can say, that going to be difficult for the Indian team also.
So it was a must-win match for Pakistan. So if they lose, is it going to be a dampener for the entire country, because they are the hosts of the tournament?
Definitely, Tanvi, you mentioned the right point, because they are hosting a major ICC event after a gap of 29 years, and within 4 days we can say that if they loses this match, definitely they will be out of the tournament and they will be out of their own party. So definitely it's going to be a big setback for Pakistan if they loses this match, and almost their journey will be over if they are going to lose, if they lose this match. But we know that Pakistan is a quite unpredictable team. In the past also, they have done some unpredictable things. In what way they come in the match, how they deal the India's chase, it remains to be seen. But we know that at this pitch, definitely India has to just be at their heels, so that they should not give any space, any room to the Pakistani bowlers.
Yeah, and of course, it's always a nail-biting clash when India and Pakistan come on the field to play. Thank you very much, Narayan Singh, for joining us at the moment. Well, Pakistan has been bowled out for 241, and that's the target for India to beat in this epic face-off in the Champions Trophy, this tournament, this match underway in Dubai. That's all for this edition of DD India Live. Thank you for tuning in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.